A lot of people watched the Warhammer The Old World reveals at Warhammer Fest, and they took away the fact that Games Workshop don't seem to be trying when it comes to the game. And I'm here to sort of dispel that myth a little bit. That's not to say I'm going to sit here and tell you that Warhammer The Old World will overtake Age of Sigmar. It'll overtake 40k. It will become the biggest game you've ever seen, because that's not going to happen. And Games Workshop know that. So let's talk about it. Many people seemingly were disappointed at the reveals. We had a Bretonnian Paladin in resin, and we have a new Tomb King Commander. That is it. That is literally all that we got at Warhammer Fest. And if you look at it on the surface, you might think, well, they're obviously not trying, they're not putting in very much effort. That's obviously just a very small reveal. But really the problem there is your expectations. In my opinion, it was unrealistic to expect much more. I sort of thought that we might get a release window. Maybe they would say like 2023 winter or something like that. But my expectations before going in was I thought we were going to get 2 models and a release window. Well, even I overestimated it. I think if you were expecting to see like the launch box or get a release date or see all the models that were coming back, etc., you were in for disappointment, and you probably were disappointed. But I think that's because of your expectations, not necessarily because there's any cause for disappointment. Sure, you can be disappointed that we're not getting all of those good things. Obviously, I want everything right now, we all do. But if we're being realistic, that wasn't going to happen. Now, why is that? Why are we not getting everything right now? And the simple answer is, it's not ready yet. And even if it was, do you think they're going to try and overshadow 40k in any meaningful way? Obviously not. 40k is getting its 10th edition in a month or 2. I don't exactly know when it's coming out, but everybody is going to be excited for that. They don't want to have that touched in any way. That is the cash cow. It's huge. I saw like I was doing a Donald Trump then. It's huge with my tiny hands. But 40k is a behemoth. I actually think they could have pretty much shown us everything for Warhammer Fantasy, and I don't think it would have actually ruined 40k because 40k is that big. But those are the 2 main reasons. It's not ready yet, and they don't want to reveal it yet. And some people are thinking, oh, well, that's all we'll get. No. This is not all we are going to get. This is just sort of the start, really. Have you ever known Games Workshop to really mess up a hype train? I haven't. They are literally the masters of hype. And you know how they do this? They keep their hype windows very, very short. They don't typically have hype trains that last many, many years. That's not really a thing. It's Horus Heresy, then it's something else. Then it's Blood Bowl. Then it's Kill Team. They want you to get in on this hype because they want you to think, oh, I must have it now. I'm going to buy this cool new thing. That's how everybody ends up with mountains of grey plastic that they will never do anything with. GWs are the experts of a hype train. Now they're sort of going against all of what I just said. With Warhammer The Old World, we know we're getting trickled information. That's very unusual. But then again, a game that they discontinued and then are bringing back is very unusual in its way that they're doing it. It's not like Kill Team, they can't just be like, hey, here's a box. It's not like Speed Freaks, hey, here's a box. They're not doing that. They told us before, a lot of us are trying to like prep and think about what we're going to do, and they're aware of that. They're going to give us the bare minimum until they're ready to pump up that hype train. And once they're ready, you will 100% know about it. I think a lot of the confusion possibly came from the no starter box. Now that seems to just be unfortunate in 2 main ways. A lot of people thought, and you know, myself included, that when they say no starter box, they meant no launch box. And I was so confused when I heard that. I was like, that is surely how they make the most money. And so it was that they actually are doing a launch box. They're just not doing a starter box, i.e. a box that is intended to get new people into the game. They say that Warhammer The Old World is not a game you would typically start with. And there's a bit of a problem with that. Why is The Old World coming back? No, seriously, like what is the actual reason that it's coming back? Well, the main answer is probably that Games Workshop can make money. But the second answer is probably the Total War Warhammer games. But then there's a bit of a confusion. If you're trying to get this audience from video games into the tabletop game, why are you not going to help them? It sort of puts pay to the idea that it is actually anything to do with Total War Warhammer, because you're not actively trying to get that audience in any meaningful way, shape or form. So is that just not the reason? Or if it is the reason that it actually is because of the video game, why are you then not trying to help them with the starter box? What is the point? Now personally, I did sort of get the feeling that they're almost in a way not happy with the hype that Warhammer The Old World has. I don't know if any of you watched the Age of Sigmar one. They were like, who's excited for the Mortal Realms? And they had to go like, yeah, we are. And they're like, who's excited for Horus Heresy? And they're like, yay. And they were like, who's excited for Warhammer The Old World? And it was like, yes! Which is fair enough, right? And it just sort of got the vibe that they're sort of maybe not overly thrilled with that. But I think that's just not true. They're not overly thrilled to have this hype this early on. And the lack of a starter box, I think, is another sign that they don't want it to even really compete with the two big cash cows of 40k and Age of Sigmar. Obviously, it's not really going to compete with 40k in any meaningful way, but Age of Sigmar, like, I did make a video saying that it will never overtake Age of Sigmar, and I sort of stand by that. I don't think the rules of Warhammer Fantasy / The Old World are sort of like suitable for most wargamers these days. I think people want something a little bit simpler, perhaps a little bit easier, and that's fair enough. I'm completely on board with that. If anything, I actually wanted Warhammer The Old World to be a little bit simplified, and we're not getting that. But I do think the hype train for Warhammer The Old World is going to be very, very high. Most of the people will probably buy the launch box and then never play it, but I do think it's going to be very exciting for Warhammer The Old World fans. I will be very curious if it has any major impact on Age of Sigmar, but that's something we're just not going to know right now. So for me, it's two things. Your expectations were probably too high if you actually expected anything more than what we got. And if you're feeling really disappointed, then your hype levels might just be too high right now, and GW aren't ready for that hype train. But do not worry, when Games Workshop are ready for the hype train, you are going to hear the steam rumbling, and it's going to hit you like a freight train, carrying an absolute shed ton of Warhammer The Old World launch boxes, not starter boxes. You will not miss it, and I think most of you will not be disappointed. That's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to support the channel, you can become a Patreon. There is a link in the description. Other than that, I hope you have a truly most beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.